like a
Yeah.
pop star gone mad. Um, but if this is madness, then it's beautiful.
Welcome to Silent Sages Speak, the podcast where timeless wisdom meets the present moment. I'm your host, Sukhdev Virdee, and each episode we delve into the profound teachings of non-dual masters, those who have transcended the boundaries of duality to reveal the profound simplicity of existence. Join us on this journey beyond words as we explore the essence of being with those who have realized the truth that goes beyond language, beyond thought. Open your mind, silence your chatter, let the wisdom of the silent sages resonate within you. My guest tonight is one of the most sought after non dual masters on the internet. He's very popular on YouTube with a massive following. He's from Toronto, Canada. He's a poet, an author, a blogger, a non duality coach and speaker, and above all, which I'm really sure you're gonna feel it through the video and through his voice. He is nothing but one big bundle of unconditional love. So I'm very grateful to him for sparing some time out of his busy schedule for this podcast. And without any further delay, I'd like to welcome to the show Emerson. Bro, welcome to the show.
Quite an intro.
Yeah. It's
There's just ordinariness here, no masters or whatever. It's just everything is just equanimity. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So no pedestals. It's okay. It's all right.
it's you've got to give some
But thank
direction
you.
to the illusion as well. It's got to be profound. So, I just put up the title as the Silent Sages Speak. So the podcast is called Silent Sages Speak, and I sent out an email to a lot of the non-dual masters out there. So this year I'm gonna go with a lot of interviews with all those who I can get to talk about non-duality.
Yeah.
And so I went onto your website, and what do I find on the title? My show is titled Silent Sages Speak, and your website's title says Empty Words About the Unspeakable. I said, oh, right. So we're going to talk about that which cannot be spoken about.
Yes. And it's not in the words really. It's in what's not said, because it already is.
Yes.
There is this silence that cannot be heard, but
Yeah.
it's often overlooked because it already is. And
Yeah.
that's usually what's talked about in this unspeakable talks, is to express something that cannot be expressed because it is in everything.
Yes. The
Yes.
essence of everything.
Yes.
Oh, Emerson, another thing. I really am interested in knowing the stories of people, how they got into non-duality. Everyone has a story, and I love hearing the stories. I could not find one of yours anywhere on the internet. It's like Emerson non-duality, nowhere to be found.
Because the story is irrelevant, but I'll tell the story,
yes.
although it's irrelevant, right? So
Yeah.
the way that it started was, I think in my late 20s, there was some seeking that was happening. I reached the pinnacle of the corporate world. I was earning a lot of money. I had a big house. I had a partner, but there was something missing. There was always something missing, and there was a lot of money, a lot of success, so to speak, but there was something profoundly empty, missing. And there was a seeking for that one. So I went to the path of spirituality, read a lot of books by many different, non-duality authors. And one day, after spending maybe, I became a meditator. I meditated for maybe 10,000 hours, not in one shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I took some teacher trainings, spirituality. So one day I was walking down the street, and I was walking down in a very underprivileged place in Vancouver. It's the poorest postal code in Canada. Somehow I felt triggered. I felt kind of like, oh, people are probably going to rob me here, because there's a lot of people that are homeless, and people that are displaced, and a lot of addictions. And I went back and I said, after 10,000 hours of meditation, how come I don't have the compassion to see that? How come I'm still bothered? So I went back the next day and I'm like, I'm going to redo this. I'm going to try this. So I took my beautiful dog and I looked at my dog, and my dog didn't have any judgments. It didn't care if somebody was on the street shooting up needles. It didn't care if there was just this, and there was just this opening. And at that time, this is what I told, this is what was experienced, is I saw the veil drop. And I saw everything as God, basically. And there was just this wow, 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 wow. So what I did was I said, I'm going to open up a center here, like a meditation center. People can practice yoga, meditation, and everything. I'm going to open it for free for everyone.
Wow.
To be able to serve the people on the streets. But what at the same time, I had this seemingly awakening, right? And helping people going to the streets, and I sold my house and started, just really kind of like helping people on the street. But the problem with that one was I was maintaining the bliss and I was bypassing the pain. Midway through it, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. She had a seizure and she had brain surgery. And instead of feeling sad, I went into the practices hoping to find that the practice would somehow alleviate the pain, but the pain was too strong. And basically I fell apart as a spiritual teacher. And then I went on an exile. And then I started seeking heavily. I went to different gurus, different masters, try to get back what I thought I lost, because I thought I lost my enlightenment, so to speak. And funny enough, right? When I was seeking, there was so much. So it was basically the pinnacle, the top, and everything, and there was bliss, but I could not handle the pain of losing my mother. And so I tried to meditate, tried everything, but because of it, I lost. I would lose the enlightenment and I would gain it back and would lose it. So there was no permanence with whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought I had to do severe practices. I was actually at one point only eating fruits that fell out of a tree, and fasting and all that kind of stuff, doing all of the purity, practices and everything. But I can't seem to get rid of my thoughts. And I went into heavy depression. So I fell apart. So the depression that I had, at one point, I could not even leave my bed because I was just there's no charge anymore. But it was just so much despair in losing what you thought that you had. So I went back into, full-time seeking. I was like reading a whole bunch of books and everything, and listening nonstop to non-duality speakers and teachers. And I was like, who is telling the truth? Who's telling the truth? And I was just kept on hitting the wall over and over again. Surprisingly, after getting sick of seeking, after kind of like just giving up, I was just exhausted. So what I would usually do when there was a, kind of like a stress that was coming in, I would play music.
Okay.
I'm a DJ. So a DJ for hours and hours and hours. You too?
Pop singer.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's right. Maybe we can collaborate.
Yeah.
So what happened was after I was just DJing and I noticed that everything was happening automatically, meaning that I was not doing anything. And I tried to find Emerson and I could not find it. And I just kind of like pulled my hand out and I was like, looked around, and everything was in perfect place. There was this silence that was so loud that all the thoughts seemingly fell apart. The thoughts would come in, it would fall apart. The thoughts would come in, fall apart. And then I was supposed to lead a silent retreat shortly after that. I called the organizer and said that I don't have anything to teach anymore.
All right. Yeah.
So we canceled that silent retreat. So I was in silence for not a choice, of course, for a whole month because I was supposed to have the retreat. So I was just walking around in this newness, in this openness, in this directness, and there was nothing separate. Everything was just what is that cannot be spoken about. Everything is just this unspeakable, this radiance and everything. And of course, there was this in loveness with what is. So for quite a while, I was just in this non-speaking for a whole month, basically. And when it went back into the apparent world and everything, I ended up coming back because I was in exile for a couple of years. Ended up coming back into my parents' house, and then I just really wanted to speak to characters, So I started Nothing Media,
Wow.
and I just wanted to be in the background. I just wanted to be an interviewer. One day, one of the speaker could not make it, and someone said, "Hey, Emerson, you're really clear. Why don't you start speaking?" And I started speaking, and somehow it's like being at home with speaking.
Wow.
There was a reluctance to it, but somehow, there's 200 videos now, um, and then there's speaking one on one, and there seems to be a lot of, and I know this is just a story, characters that have um seen through something that is incredibly impossible to figure out. So
Right.
the seeking drops, with a lot of characters that I talk to. So that's a story,
Wow. Wow.
and it's
Beautiful.
irrelevant at the same time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. The reason I wanted that, I don't think I've seen this in any of your videos or anywhere else or I've heard about it. So I wanted to just hear it. It's completely irrelevant. I get that.
Yeah.
And anybody who's watching this, who's listening to this, these are
Yeah.
not experiences that you're meant to look forward to. You don't look
No,
forward to.
no, no,
They
no.
don't mean
Because
a
it
thing.
already is. It
Yeah.
already
So
is.
if they do come, they're welcome. Let them come and go. They are not the truth. You don't seek such experiences. Amazing. So you were teaching before you actually went through this yourself, and you were
Yes.
teaching
Yeah.
spirituality.
For 10 years. Yeah.
You mind?
For more than 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
You mind sharing any of the books for the viewers and the
Um,
listeners that you read, the places you went to?
I don't really remember it, but
Okay.
for some odd reason, the way that I talk about this is that even words are relevant now, right? So
Yes.
in
Yes.
the past, I was of course reading the Upanishads and the
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita
Okay.
and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, at one point I
Yeah.
thought
All
I've
right. 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 Right.
memorized some of them. Yeah.
Yeah. All those books and all that knowledge is just to make sure you understand they are all irrelevant.
Yes.
Really, it's crazy. Anyway,
Yeah.
so once you got into this now, nothing, your
Yeah.
nothing media, is it still there? You still do this meditation?
It's well, not
Uh,
not really anymore because that was just basically to there was just a lot of love for non-duality,
yeah.
and I wanted to speak to teachers and speakers
Okay.
and just share this, in YouTube.
Okay.
Somehow when the speaking happened, that just became the full-time thing. I took a leave of absence from my job because I was working
Yeah.
in an office, and then
Okay.
somehow it took over, and I don't know how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. Happening happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it's crazy, 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 crazy. Again went on your website. Why I'm saying it's crazy is because I went through some of your blog posts just to have
Yeah.
a look at what you write, and you you have 3 books lined up. I
Yeah.
am eagerly waiting to read them because just from this small blog posts, I can imagine what kind of books or words that you're going to use to explain. I want to read something from your blog post, if
Sure.
you don't mind.
Sure.
And I
No,
want
no,
you to
no, no.
go through this because I wish people would get it.
Yeah.
It's unspeakable, it's unknowable, but then
Yeah.
logically, how can you explain it as well? And I'm going to read this because it's so profound. I was reading it and just laughing and clapping on my own.
Thank you.
So let me just read it. It's titled, for those who are listening, who are watching, the website Emerson has is emersonnonduality.com. And on the blog, if you click on the blog button, you'll come down to the poems and the blog post is done. One of them is titled Untitled Poem for No One. The title is Untitled Poem for No One. Now, here's what it goes like. There are no words that can express this, yet here it is, appearing as words to state the obvious that nothing is needed. It's over, done. It has always been this way. Unutterable freedom, silence. However, the desperate diver is swimming through the vast ocean of unconditional love. These are the things that I love. Emerson, this is crazy. Swimming through the vast ocean of unconditional love. For you and the one who sees it knows this entire thing is just unconditional love. To hear the waves of empty words crashing through other made up waves of heavy but hollow words. To hear again and again that there is no separation, simply not two, without an opposite. Surprisingly and predictably, the seeker of pearls of emptiness holds on to these jewels like boys to save itself from its inevitable demise, exhaustion, just like what you just said right now. The last word, even the unshakable belief of that last hope and the sinking feeling, desperate and one last attempt to stay afloat. God, why have you? Drowning indefinitely and infinitely, laughing and choking at words, death. In the end, nothing really happened. All the stories sink. All of the exhausted words vanish like echoes of silence. The beliefs burst like tiny bubbles, and everything that has ever known is spiraling down to the bottomless pit of this unknowable stillness. Even this speaker is useless, unappreciated, a mirage, a dealer of silence, but can only supply in words. Nevertheless, the words are deadly when it is revealed as impotent and counterfeit. The junkie dies along with all the lies that used to get it high. Nothing was heard because nothing has ever been said. Just waves crashing back and forth in deathly silence. Peace resting in peace on peace. This is crazy. Emerson,
Oh, thank you.
this is crazy. What gets me? Words like echoes of silence. Echo. This is a paradoxical language. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful. If you can get it. What else you use here? A dealer of silence, but can only supply words. Wow. So have you had this in you all the time? Like
No, no, no. You know,
creativity and
it's
poetry?
funny, right? Because the speaking of this is very limited because the words seem to create this illusory appearance of getting or knowing and everything.
Yes.
So when the speaking happened, it became more like poetry. The
Uh,
poetry that all of these words that are coming in and out are fleeting whispers of
yeah.
something that cannot be heard. And the words seem to create this veil of separation for something that has never been separate. So
Right.
it's like trying to grab a grain of grass in your hand and everything is just falling apart. And there's this immediacy, this directness, the unspeakable, the wow that seems to appear out of nowhere, like this sunlight that has always been there, the air that's always been there. And the words seems to fall apart and it goes into oblivion. Standing at the event horizon, there's a black hole that seems to create this vacuum of every knowing, every fleeting moment. And there's this eternal peace that has always been overlooked. And that's what that is. So something like that, it just comes out.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's what I was trying to get. Does it just come and does it just flow
Yeah.
out, or do you sit and think about it?
No, no,
No,
no, no, not
that's
at all. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful
So
poetry.
yeah.
So
So it just, oh, and when I was a little kid, though, I was I wrote poetry.
yeah,
But
okay,
because of Asian family, you know what, don't do art and everything, you know what, be a doctor, be
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like this with
yeah, yeah,
be a lawyer or something. So I gave up a lot of the art stuff.
okay.
um even the website, I love creating it because there's just the colors, all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you for
yeah.
reading the poem.
Oh, yeah, no, beautiful. There are a few more that you gotta explain what says because it's crazy. It's why I'm asking this again is because I realize that once you get this, you realize it, then the medium that you have been working on with is the medium that's used to express it. So for me, it's
Yeah,
like music, it's singing, it's
yeah,
performance. So for somebody it would be poetry, somebody it would
Yeah.
be painting, it would be, carving, sculpting, expressing the unexpressible using art. Suddenly, a lot of people get this artistic, it's like a download. Suddenly, you never knew that you could be an artist, a painter. After this awakening, suddenly you find yourself doing things that you've never done before,
Oh, true. Yeah,
like,
true.
yeah, poetry and
Yeah, the poetry just comes, right? So, um, and I think it just keeps on kind of like deepening and deepening and deepening this,
yeah,
whatever this is that we can't talk about, this beautiful impersonal grace, right? So it's just this beautiful openness that seems to um create it's the way that this is seen is like it's like this masterpiece,
oh yeah,
whatever is appearing, even the pain, it's like a giant painting, right? People seem to look for the peace, but what the canvas of this giant painting is peace. And in this giant piece canvas, there's beautiful colors that's moving. It can be really dark sometimes. It could be pain. It could be anxiety. But when you start stepping back, you see the beautiful completeness of everything, this masterpiece. And when you're standing back, you're not even a part of it. You
yeah,
are a part of that masterpiece. And there's nothing that you can do or not do to be apart from it. And this beautiful masterpiece, this tapestry of colors, this brilliance, and even the dark, stark moments, all of those appearances of images and colors and vibrancy. It's alive. This masterpiece painting is alive. And it's just unbelievable.
yeah,
Unbelievable. Yeah,
yeah. It's unconceivable to the human mind,
it
and because
is. Yeah.
it can't be reduced to a thought. It can't be.
Yeah.
It has no form. It has no name. So it
No.
can't be reduced to a thought. So it's inconceivable. And anything that can't be conceived by the mind is that which is not a thing, which is nothing.
Yes. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the mind, but there's no
Yeah, yeah,
mind
oh,
at the
no,
same
there's nothing wrong
time.
with it. Once you realize what the mind is,
Yeah.
um, um, all the imaginations, the mind is nothing but thoughts about the future and the past,
Yeah.
which are all pictures and words of things that don't exist in the present moment.
Yes.
Um,
Or it's mind blowing that there's no mind.
oh yeah, yeah, yes, because the mind is not
When
a
this was
thing.
no, when this was seen, it was like, what the hell is this appearances? It can't be labeled. It can't be figured out. So in this directness, in this momentless moment, um,
Yeah,
all the thoughts are irrelevant to what's appearing. So it seems to overlook the this presence that is not a source, not a thought at all. So what's
yeah,
being looked at here is it's unthinkable.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The way I went through the Upanishads as well and all this non-dual Advaita Vedanta texts,
Yeah.
and so I actually wanted to get, like, just like yourself, I just want to know what is the truth. What is the truth?
Hmm. Yeah.
And finally when I got it. So when we're talking about the mind, what is the mind? So they talk about Nirgun, Sagun, and Maya in between. So there's this consciousness, there's the power of consciousness, and then what it projects, right? What is projected by consciousness within consciousness. Now,
Yeah.
the power to project is real and unreal at the same time, because it projects, that is real,
Mm.
and what it projects is unreal. They say in Vedanta, like, if you have a dream, when you wake up from a dream, and you say, oh yeah, it was just a dream, it's unreal, it was an illusion, it was a creation of my mind, it was a projection,
Yeah.
and none of it was real, right? But the
Yeah.
fact that you had a dream, that is real. Talking from the human point of view.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so the mind, they say, if you say there's nothing like the mind, try to stop it, and it's everywhere. Try to look for it, and you'll never find it. You stop it, and
Yeah.
it's
That
everywhere.
that's that's what was um um surprising,
Yeah,
that when there is a seeing through, you know what I'm saying, the thoughts and the mind and everything, then
yeah,
there's just this everything is illuminated,
yeah,
everything is, and then there's not even, it's not even a construct,
yeah.
um but it's also a construct simultaneously.
Yes,
So the
yes.
mind can capture the seeming wholeness, the inherent completeness of everything, because
Okay.
the mind tends to create these opposites, but there are no opposites really. And
Yeah,
that's what's shocking. You're like, wow. Aside from this voice that's coming in and out, the seeming image that's appearing here, or the viewers is listening to this, what is often overlooked is the wholeness of everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, for me, once I got the entire thing, I narrowed it down to one little thing known as identity shift.
Mm.
Did that happen with you? That when you identified as the nothingness or shifted out of the ego is when, because the root cause of everything in your life is all attached to that one I thought. It's happening to me. It's me, my thoughts, my feelings. Take the
Yeah, yeah.
I out of it, and everything is just as it is.
Yeah, I could not find it. That was I. It's for a whole month I was trying to find it.
Yeah.
That identity,
Yeah.
and it was just a thought. And
Yes.
then if you look for thoughts, you'll just find more thoughts, and thoughts will just support more thoughts.
Right.
But it was just not there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was just a profound silence. So the seeming shift was that there is a character, there's an Emerson here, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
but there's also no Emerson simultaneously. And
Right.
it's so there's this play, you know what I'm saying? There's this play that there's this talking happening, but there's really no one behind it. Because the moment that there's an identity, the moment that the I, the me, the self, it seems to cut, separate something that's never been separate. So the
Yeah.
whole the whole construct of the identity, it's a complete construct,
Yeah.
um, is seen through as like, oh wow, but there's nothing wrong or right with it. It's just what is. So there's this authenticity that comes out from this character now, because it's not trying, it's not doing anything really. It's just is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is to do with the conditioning that we've had since childhood. You are this and you are that, and you've got to do this, and this is how you should do it, and this is what you should become. And you end up saying, okay, I have to do it. I'm going to do this. I have to go there. I have to. Everything becomes I. And then you say,
Yeah.
this is what I am. You're conditioned. You know,
Yeah. And then when you do, but when you do art, like when you're singing, right, you notice it, a subtle
oh, yeah,
noticing that there's no you singing it.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially art, right? And that's what I neglected as a character in my conditioning, because I was trying to be a corporate person and trying to be successful. But there were some, I can play the piano for hours and hours.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, yeah. I played the piano when I was a kid for quite a while too, right? So I went into my recitals and everything. But now, since there's no audience, the piano and the piano player, the music, and it's just all one.
Yeah,
It's unicity. Yeah. And that's what I mean, right? Like the seeming conditioning of learning, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out truth and everything. But the undeniable is when someone is captured in singing or dancing or whatever. I noticed this when I DJ, even from before. Takes a couple of songs, maybe 3 songs.
yeah,
The moment that that song hits, that everyone loves, that there's a seeming kind of like the crowd floor erupts, the music is pumping, the DJ, everything is not separate. And there's just this euphoria about it. And I think that's the same with you singing as well. You're a pop
yeah,
star, which is
yeah.
awesome. Tell me about that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My story is I'm born and brought up in Kenya.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Studied music in the UK, and then I came down to India because I wanted to do something in Bollywood. That was the biggest
Oh, yeah, yeah.
entertainment industry at that time.
Yeah,
So I came down here. It's been about 24 years. So I
yeah.
had a few good, successful albums, Punjabi pop. I don't know if you've heard of
Oh,
Bhangra
nice.
music.
I
Bhangra
love
music?
Bhangra music.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so that's what I do.
I'm a dancer
And
too, so I like dancing. Yeah.
I love your glasses in
Oh,
every
thank
single
you.
video. The glasses that you put on in every single video, I love that as well. So I came down, and for about 15 years, 15, 16 years, I was living this life of a pop star, shows and concerts and hotels and traveling and beautiful life. Just before my 40th birthday, I was going through a really tough time. And
Hmm.
suddenly, out of the blue, three different people who I rarely met gifted
Yeah.
me the Bhagavad Gita out of the blue. And
Yeah.
so I thought I must read it. And so when I
Yeah.
read it, it 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 just spoke to me, and I said, "My God, I've got to do this. If this is the truth, there's nothing more worth pursuing more than this. And if it
Hmm.
is not the truth, still there's nothing more to pursue after this, after knowing
Yeah.
this." So
Yeah.
anyway, I read that, and after about 2 years, one day I woke up from my meditation, and I was just frozen, and I became one with the universe. I was thrown into the center of something, not something, in the center of nothingness.
Yeah.
And then wherever my attention went, I was there then and that. Time had stopped. Everything was
Yeah.
I. And like you
Yeah.
said, the universe is alive. Every single particle was shining and living,
Yes.
alive. And when I came back from that, my first thought was, this is impossible. And if I spoke to anybody about this, nobody's going to believe me. They're going to say, I've lost it. You've lost it.
Yeah.
So after that, it led me to find out what it was. And that led me to non-duality and spirituality and the Upanishads, Vedanta. Luckily, I didn't have to go through the process of meditation for years and other different paths before coming
Yeah.
to the path of knowledge.
Yeah.
I luckily came straight to the path of knowledge, and I understood for the first time on the path of knowledge that um, all different religions, all different practices, they are working on different paths. And from birth, from childhood, if you don't understand that, you end up trying to mix all of them up and try to figure out what is the truth. And here with the path of knowledge, I could segregate. This is devotion. This is love. This is worship. This
Yeah.
is knowledge. This
Yeah.
is action. This is service.
Yeah.
There are different paths.
Yeah.
And on the path of knowledge, you want to know the truth, you need the path of knowledge. You need knowledge to understand, because that's what you're looking for. If you want to, you're an emotional person, get on the path of love and devotion. If you're the person who's very active and want to do
Bhakti,
things,
right?
bhakti yoga, yeah. So I understood those three. And then on the path of knowledge, the practice is simply listen, understand, realize. You don't need to believe in anything. You don't need to sit and meditate for hours. Listen, understand, realize. So that's what I did for about I think 4 or 5 years. I got it, and then I could not keep
And
the information.
until you realize that there's nothing to realize, what I'm
Yes,
saying? It's
yeah,
beautiful, right? Because you go to this path of knowledge, right? And then you get a whole bunch of things, and then everything falls apart. But go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted
yeah,
you.
no, no. So in 2019, I said I have to let this out. I can't keep it in me. I need to let it out. So I dedicated 2019 to writing books. I put all my knowledge, the whatever I wanted to
Yeah.
speak, into books. The last book was The Power of Nothing. And
Oh,
after that, I
good.
said, I have nothing more to say after this.
Yeah.
Um,
Beautiful.
yeah. So it's just recently now that I have actually come out, and I've got the urge and the push from within to go out and talk about this. Even if
Mm.
people think I'm crazy, I've lost it, pop star gone crazy, does not matter. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. So this is where this year's past few months, that's where I've been trying to get out on social media, start a YouTube channel, get on Instagram, and start talking to people about this and let people know if. And surprisingly, I found some of my friends have been going through this, but
Mm.
nobody's talking about it
Yeah.
for the fear of
Yeah.
being, judged. And they were so
Yeah.
happy. So yeah, so this year I'm gonna go out all out and talk, whether people think I'm crazy, whether they understand it, get it, does not get it. It's coming from within, I've got to do it. I can't stop it. There is no me to stop it. It's gonna come out.
But there's
Yeah.
also there's no others as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, right? Yeah, in the story, right? It's this is crazy. This is madness, so to speak, because there's this seeming appearance, right, of something that is just impossible, and it's just, like a
Yeah.
pop star gone mad. Um, but if this is madness, then it's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes.
It's because
I
there's
would
so
not
much
trade
peace,
this.
right? There's so much peace. And no matter what people say, no matter how you look, no matter, the peace seems to override everything.
Yeah.
The silence seems to just drown all the noise, right? Because it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. That's
Yeah.
beautiful that you're doing that. That's awesome.
And when I realized this also, and I do a few non-dual workshops on like I think the beginning of the month. So we talk about everything being an illusion,
Yeah.
and when you understand it, it becomes entertaining, it becomes beautiful, it becomes profound. Even the tragedy becomes, beautiful because it's an illusion.
Mhm.
The only time you can enjoy a horror, something horrifying, is in a theater because it's not really happening.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when you
yeah.
start seeing the entire universe like that, it's entertainment. It's the
It
biggest
is. It's a
show.
beautiful play, isn't it? What a grand show of nothing. What
I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you that. Um, there's one video I watched of yours where you said everything is a story. Everything is a story. Even this
yeah,
is a story. Your story is the story. We are talking about a story. This character trying to get out of story, even that
is
is a
still a
story.
story.
Is
That's
still a
right.
story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was imagining there's a theater that's playing the movie, the greatest movie on earth, and
Yeah.
outside the theater it says now showing nothing, starring no one.
It's brilliant, right? It's a brilliant, elegant emptiness. It's unthinkable, yet it appears as these words that, yet it appears as these conversations. It's never apart from anything.
Yeah,
It's in everything. So the brilliant trick, right? It's like looking for something that you can't find because it appears in everything. So it's not even hidden. And that's the thing, right? There's this seeking that's happening, looking for, like, I can't seem to figure this out. But what is looking for is also it. So what's seeking this is also this. What's longing for this is also this. So it's just this wonderful play of words, of
yeah,
ideas, of fantasy, right? It's grand and it's empty at the same time. And it's just bewildering of trying to, and that's what I was at one point. I was just laughing so hard because I'm like, I can't believe that it's always been here.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
believe that, I've been looking for this, and it's just,
It's always been there.
what a brilliant play. What a
How did
brilliant
I?
play.
Yeah. How did
Because
I
you're looking
miss
for it
it?
in your thoughts, but it's when you're not looking for it, it's almost like looking for that glasses that you're like, where's my glasses? And it's on the top of your head.
Uh,
Or you're talking on the phone and you're like, your friend is like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm looking for my phone. I can't seem to find it. He's like, you're talking on it. I'm like, oh.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it is profound. It's like, how could I miss this? How could I miss
Yeah,
it? Right in front of me, in everything I do, everything I think, everything I feel, in everything.
it's in
How did I miss
everything.
it? How did I miss it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like this song that's eternally playing,
Yeah.
and but the song is silent. So you're
Yeah.
looking for that song, but it's in all the songs. It's in all it's in
Yeah.
all the talks. It's in all the noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. Well played, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
You know
like
that
it's
long con, right? You're kind of like, you're looking for the mystery, right? And then at the end you're like, "Oh, this is the mystery. That is the mystery.
right.
Everything is a mystery." So the mystery is looking for the mystery when it's already the mystery.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, what a long con. Well
Yes.
played. And then even the long con is not a con because there's really no time at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even time is an illusion. You're like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
brilliant, brilliant. Yeah.
Now, Emerson, you do a lot of Zoom calls. You have a lot of students. You have a website where people come and you know approach you for guidance. What would you give as somebody who's just starting out, who's just learning about non-duality? What advice or what steps or what would you advise them to do? What to look out for? What not to look out for? You know,
There's
these
no
are,
advice really, but
yeah, yeah,
the thing that is evident is
yeah,
that it's already the case. No matter what you think, it is already done. No
yeah,
matter how you seek, it's finished.
yeah.
No matter what you do or not do, it's already, and it is just overlooked by overthinking something that does not need to be thought about.
Okay.
And that seems to be that seems to kind of like when it's seen that the irrelevance of thoughts,
Yeah.
then what is, and then the radiance of what's overlooked shows up.
Ah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
do, do
always
you do
here.
do you have any tips on, because that needs to be recognized when it's there. Otherwise, it is there a lot of times when you don't recognize it, it just goes unnoticed. You never know it,
Yeah,
like you have been. So
it's always overlooking something that does not that has never been lost.
yeah, yeah,
It's never
yeah.
been lost. It's never been lost, right? So um and it's hard to talk about something that can't be talked about, if you know what I mean.
You know, when I was
Because it becomes a concept, it becomes an idea, it becomes something that they're like,
yeah,
okay, you know what, this is what he's saying and everything.
yeah,
And I'm going to repeat it again. It's not in what I say, it's what I don't say. It's
yeah,
the silence, it's the emptiness. In all of these words, all the words are made up. When you see that there is the that the I thought, you know what I'm saying,
yeah.
is completely made up. So everything
Oh
that
yes,
follows after that is
is
just
made
an
up.
illusion.
Right.
So the illusion creates this wonderful, vibrant dance of emptiness, coming in and out of the senses. It appears as senses, it appears as sensations, appears as feeling. And then the I thought is quick to stamp it as depression, sadness,
Yeah,
happiness, and everything. But what can't be stamped is the elegant emptiness in everything. If you
yeah,
look behind anything, there's nothing really.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
It's just that you can't pay attention to it. You can't focus. You can't do anything to it. It's where everything arises from and subsides.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
it is. It's beautiful, right?
uh,
Because it's so simple.
yeah, yeah.
It's so
And
simple that you don't need to get it figured out because it
yeah,
already is.
when you actually get to that stage, it's like it's the most simplest thing, and it's the
Have you
most difficult to
yeah,
get.
yeah, because it's not, have you seen one of my one-on-one videos where people just pop, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah.
story?
Yes,
The
yes.
it's what the often thing that happens. I think I have like 50 videos of that. The
Okay.
often things that they tell me after, they're like, I don't know what you said. Because you know, they have this instant realization and
Yeah.
they can't seem to figure out what happened. So they look around their room, they're like, what is happening here?
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's over and over and over again. It's the simplicity when the expression is so simple and direct. Um, you know, and it's just there's just this subtlety that appears that's always been here,
yeah. Now I'm
just like
just
this.
looking at you and you're just radiating love. I want to ask you,
Ah,
what about unconditional, talk about love, unconditional love.
um, love is a construct that cannot be constructed because it's in everything,
Yeah.
right?
No, yeah, yeah,
Unconditional love is you're looking at it.
yeah. Right. I have.
And then what's looking behind that is also unconditional love. So
Yeah.
it's looking at love, but seeing this is also this.
Yes.
So when you see unconditional love, that's unconditional love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's really hard to express it, explain it, because it becomes a concept again.
yeah.
It's not a concept, it's what is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went through Shaktism as well. So I've studied Vaishnavism, Shaivism, Vedanta,
Yeah.
a little bit of Buddhism. And in Shaktism is about the power, like the power of Shiva is Shakti, the power of consciousness, whatever the power it is. They talk about three powers. It's Ichha Shakti, Gyan Shakti, Kriya Shakti. The Ichha Shakti is the power of will, or the power of desire, or the power to create. And then there's the power of the intellect, intellectual power. And then there's the power of physical power, Kriya Shakti.
Yeah.
And so I went and analyzed. Now I thought, if God had these powers, if these were the powers of God, emotional power, what is the highest power that God would radiate? And that would have to be unconditional love. What is the highest knowledge that God would have to know? The truth. And what is the highest action that God would have to take? It would be service, selfless service. So that's where I got unconditional love from, because God would, or the universe, call it God, the universe, consciousness, existence, whatever you want, but it's working at the peak. And so the universe is radiating unconditional love. The universe embodies what the entire truth is, and the universe is serving everything and everyone and every thought that's here. It's the same one. So whether you feel it or not, the universe is sending unconditional love to you. And the best thing, if you don't believe in a God or anything, is to serve the universe back selflessly. So yeah, I understand that unconditional love, but you radiate it so much.
Oh,
How do you
thank you.
do
Thank
that?
you. I have no idea.
You're established. Once you're established in that, then it just is. It just is. That
Thank
is.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. You have beautiful words too. It's
Ah,
you say this really beautifully
no.
too. So yeah.
I really because of my history, I have people from the entertainment industry. You as well. You're a DJ. So I have
Yeah.
very few people that I talk to this about. So it's mostly
Yeah.
conversing with myself, and then I say things and I say, wow, what the hell was this? What did I just say?
Yeah.
So I love it when I talk
Beautiful.
to anybody who gets it. And
Yeah. Well, we'll
I'm
talk again
so,
soon. You know what I'm
I'm
saying? This
so,
is
so, so
we'll do a
grateful.
part two.
I'm so grateful for you to
Oh,
spend this
thank
time
you.
with us. Thank you so much. And for the viewers and the listeners, I'd like to just to let them know what you offer, where they can get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you, what they can, maybe
They
your
can
YouTube,
go. Yeah, it's just
your
Emerson
YouTube,
Non-Duality.
yeah, okay. Does that contain everything? All your links to the social media and
Yeah, Emerson Non-Duality.com, and it just
.com.
contains, yeah, and yeah, it's just a constant reminder, like an infinite reminder that it already is.
Yeah.
So there's this unconditional love for everything is allowed, no one is denied, so to speak.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
Well,
so
thank
much,
you.
Emerson. Thank you so much. I'm going to put all the links down below. So anybody who wants to get in touch, uh, this is the man to go to. No one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sending lots of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Take care.
Yeah. Take care.
You're exiting this dream, all in exchange for nothing, because your desire for the truth is stronger than your desire to try to make something out of this. And you're willing to overcome the fear that it takes to do that. So if you find yourself in this position, if this is where you are with spirituality, I feel you. I was there too.